New episodes of Tour Talk go live every Monday, so please subscribe, comment, and like if you enjoy what you hear, and help us spread the word by continuing to share this with anyone you think will enjoy. This is Tour Talk.
Hi, mate.
Hello.
Sorry, mate.
What's the vibe? You're not excited for your big Tour Talk debut? What's going on?
Yeah, it's been a tough work week, mate. Been a tough work week. And then I was like, oh, I need to get a shower. Oh, I need to trim the bush. No euphemism.
You see, this shit, being on this side of the camera isn't as easy as we make it look.
It's not that kind of episode.
It could be. It could be.
You good?
I am. I'm all fine. So much going on. Like, it's been a nuts week. It's cool that some stuff is kind of like getting back to normal.
Work-wise.
I'm just not used to having like loads of emails flying in about shows. All guns blazing with that.
All
Pow, pow, pow,
gun.
pow. Bang, bang. Guns are out. Yeah.
Okay, but that's good. That's good though, isn't it?
It is. It is. I mean, how do you feel about the fact that we went from international renowned musician in Dave Brownsound Bash and also all-round lovely guy and human to now it's just me and you? I mean,
no.
I feel like there's quite a drop-off there in terms of quality of episodes that we're putting out here.
Yeah, the last few weeks, I mean, it's not that long ago since we had like Carla, the Metal Up Your Podcast guys, Brown Sound, us.
And now it's just me and you. But we're going to be entertaining. I think we can make this work.
We'll see. But yeah, I mean, Brown Sound was amazing. And he is. I knew he was the nicest dude every interview I've ever watched. He's just so smiley about everything. Like, even the stuff that I cut out, like, just him, like, he was playing guitar, I think, when you turned the thing on. And, like, he puts his guitar down and turns around. It's just, like, smile. He's just such a happy guy.
Uh-huh.
So, yeah.
I mean,
yeah.
So it was really cool for you because you're a massive Sum 41 fan and, in particular, a Brown Sound fan. So how was that for you? Us managing to get someone like that on the show and you actually getting to work on a project with him, technically. That's pretty cool for you, Rob, isn't it?
It was pretty cool. And on the day, you said, do you want to do it? And I was like, if it wasn't Brown Sound, then maybe I'd have come and joined you. But yeah, I'd have got the celebrity nerves. Because he is, to me, he's a celebrity. He's massive. And like, God. So I went to see them first in, I don't know, 2001. Yeah, 20 years. 20 years I've been seeing that guy play live. And then to be, essentially there was no Nate. So there was the three of us working on it. You two in front of the camera and then me behind it. So it's a small circle. I'm pretty close. To him.
Do you not get the celebrity nerves when you're talking to me?
Hell no, you are not a celebrity. Oh God! If you ever get like one of them blue ticks after your name on social,
I'm not into it. I don't need a blue tick. I don't need to be part of the blue tick brigade. Don't you worry.
Worry. But if it came your way, you'd just be like, "Got a blue tick today." You would. You know it.
I wouldn't make a big deal about it. I wouldn't make a big deal about it.
You would. Okay. But yeah, amazing. What a like episode 26 and Carla, Brown Sound, Charlie, like the level of artist we've had on is amazing for a little old podcast that was cooked up in lockdown between a few of us.
Yeah, so because obviously I kind of dragged you into this. For those that don't know, Rob, do you want to give a brief overview of your role on the Tour Talk podcast?
I thought you were going to say of our friendship then.
No, there's no friendship there anymore.
There's no time. Yeah, I mean, I remember you talking to me about doing a podcast pre-Nate ever being involved. I want to do something to do with touring. It'd be really good. Then I think you were telling me that you were shooting some stuff with Nate. I can't really remember how it happened. You were shooting some stuff or you were thinking about it?
So January 2020 started putting this concept together, and then Nate was over in the UK in March, and we were sharing a flat for a few days before he went out on tour, and we did a couple of little trial episodes where it was just me interviewing him essentially about stuff. And then, as lockdown happened and we had nothing to do, we were like, we may as well try and make this a thing, at which point I decided very quickly that I did not have the brain power or the intelligence or the will to try and edit this shit together.
Mm-hmm.
So I was very impressed with the video editing work that you had done during lockdown on regular guitar videos. Because those who don't know, we kept ourselves entertained during the first bit of lockdown by having a riff off between myself, you, and our friend Danny Martin, who was on the Help to Pay episode. Which I very nearly won, and I still feel quite sad about. I feel like
To
I
be
was,
fair,
I was
mate,
horribly cheated.
you not really. I mean, if we're all honest, Dan is the best guitarist, and Megadeth probably have the best riffs.
Yep.
But I think me and you plugged it better. So
Yeah.
that's you know. But yeah, I mean, video editing is not a thing I know anything about, or did know anything about a year ago.
Mm-hmm.
A little bit of stuff putting together on the guitar videos, just syncing video and audio is where it started really. And then yeah, I think you were like, I cannot do it. I do not have the patience. Do you want to give it a go? If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. But let's give it a go. And I think the concept was very much let's make it as good as it can be, because a lot of podcasts out there are either just audio, which is obviously fine, but we wanted to do the video thing because it's something else. And then we wanted to make it as high quality as possible, recording it on separate devices and syncing it all together. And you've got your mics and stuff, which is amazing.
It's funny how much it bugs you when you see podcasts that are just Zoom calls and stuff.
Oh, it hurts. It genuinely hurts. And it hurts when I see like people who I really respect or I really like in the industry, whether that's music or otherwise or whatever, and their podcasts are massive, but the quality is poor, to say the least. Like there's a lot of podcasts out there that are just Zoom records. The audio is just from headphones or just from the camera or whatever, and it's really poor. And I'm like, yeah, it does take a bit more effort, and the frustration of when it goes wrong or not getting the file or whatever else. But when it comes out and it looks great, it looks so good. It looks so good.
So
and I'm really proud of what we've done and how it looks so far. I think we have done really well.
Yeah, I'm never one to pat myself on the back, but you've done a really good job of putting this together and making it look acceptable. But you've literally learned all of this on the fly as you're going, because you have never done any video editing or any editing whatsoever before guitar videos in lockdown. I mean, because I started getting I thought I knew what I was doing with video, and I was just recording guitar videos straight on my phone, and then you would have these really nice videos with really good audio, and I was like, why does my stuff sound shit? And then I found out that you were cheating and recording everything separately and putting it all together and actually putting way too much time into like little daily guitar videos.
Yeah, a 15-second riff-off video takes an hour. But yeah, I think me and Dan both did it. I think the first couple we didn't, and then me and Dan didn't really speak about it, but we both sort of just made that decision. It did just sound bad recording it straight on your phone.
But I was busy. I was actually working during all of this. You guys were just sat at home doing nothing. I had to
No, we were working, but the working from home thing was like work from home, finish at 5 o'clock, and literally like I work down here as well. Finish at 5. Everything is here ready. So yeah, it's been an experience, but it's good. Like I feel comfortable doing the episodes now. Learn how to work around a lot of problems.
What problems, Rob? There are no problems in the Tour Talk.
Oh God, man. No audio, universe. No video. Zoom doesn't work. For a while, for the first 8 episodes, your internet was just not there.
Yeah, so I have no qualms about discussing how bad shooting the first few episodes was, because my internet was terrible. So for Rob to make it seem seamless, you had to do a lot of fixing, didn't you? Because essentially there was a massive lag between me asking somebody a question and them getting it.
Yeah, correct. And like,
how did you fix that?
I didn't know what I was doing. I mean, how did I fix it? God, I don't even know. Honestly, it's that long. It's that long ago now. I've probably put it into some recess in my mind I never want to go back to. But I think we found other like little tips and tricks along the way. Like you record the Zoom audio separately as well. So if someone's audio fails, we've got that to go back to.
Gallery mode.
Gallery mode, yeah. Some people don't record their audio separately, so we have to take it off Zoom anyway. But then in the early days, when you just had like all 3 of you off Zoom, but you and Nate had clean audio, then I was like cutting and splicing in between you guys, and when all of you were laughing at the same time, it was a nightmare. But yeah, I mean, the product that goes out is 45 minutes, an hour, but it may be an hour and a half of footage.
Yep.
And just cut that down. And yeah, and I think that's the first guest we had on was Dan Reed, who shot it 4K. His video was 4K on a GoPro, like 25, 30 gig of video. And I think GoPro like splits it after like in 5 gig chunks.
Any 20 minutes or something, I think.
Or 20 or whatever it was. So it was then like splicing videos and audio together. I had no idea what I was doing. No idea.
Real baptism of fire for you.
But it was good. And we now know that if people forget to do stuff or don't do stuff, we can work around it, which is good. And still get an episode out. Still had an episode out since that release day in Feb
22nd.
Feb 22nd. We've not missed a week. Every Monday we've put content out, which is a great thing as well. And I think now that's becoming more difficult for you guys because
this is a whole thing that I kind of wanted to get into because it was very easy to interview people when everybody was stuck at home doing nothing. But now we're in this really weird in-between bit where some gigs are happening, some aren't. Some artists are on tour, some aren't, but gigs are booked and then cancelled. So people think they're doing stuff, but then they're not doing stuff. And it's really in this kind of weird in-between time where nobody really knows what's going on. Nobody knows if shows are getting booked because people have to try and make something happen. But, I mean, for us, our first gig was going to see an evening with Bruce Dickinson, wasn't it? Which was really cool, and we can talk about that later. But he did 7 shows, and then the last 2 were cancelled because he got COVID. And it's such a bizarre time where like there is no guarantee that, yes, these shows are booked and stuff is happening, but it could take a couple of days and then all of that goes to pot again. And obviously for someone like Bruce, financially, that's not a massive issue, but for other touring bands, they can't take that risk. So it's such a weird time. I mean, because you used to go to so many shows, are you buying tickets? Do you believe shows are going to happen? I mean, where are you at with it?
So many tickets, man. So many tickets. But the other thing is, just on that, before I go on to shows I've got booked, in September in the UK, it's all changing with having to provide your COVID passport and stuff. So I think gigs that have been, so like brother's been to, I think Jay went to a gig the first Friday after stuff opened. Yeah. And it was you needed a passport or whatever, proof of negative test. But some places aren't doing that. And it's like, and then in September that's going to become mandatory. I think you have to have that for for a period of time or whatever. So it all might change then because then, we have another spike and then crowds might go down, but then people have bought tickets, so they're going to refund, and it's a bit of a mess. But yeah, I'm pretty much buying tickets as if touring is alive, and I kind of look back at the time in lockdown, and I watched 2 live streams, so I only paid for 2 live streams in the entire time, and loads of bands did it. So now I almost feel like I owe it to every band to pretty much go to every show anyway, because they've missed out on a year and a half and whatever else. But yeah, booking everything. You the other day you agreed we were going to go to a show together. We're going to pay. I mean, I know we went to Bruce. Actually, we went to Bruce. But generally, because you work in the industry, you don't pay for shows. You just
expect me to get you in for free. I never ask to go to these shows for free. You ask me whether I can sort it out, and you get the hump when I'm like, I don't want to use my one favor with this band to get you in for free when you can afford the ticket anyway.
Well, okay, yeah, that's fair. But still, you don't pay for every gig.
No.
Although neither did I, because we know people at venues and stuff as well. So, but yeah, we've agreed to go and see Miles.
We have.
Whenever that is, next year.
And I'm really hoping that happens because, like, I've been chasing Miles Kennedy around the world to actually go to a proper gig and see it. And apart from I've seen Alder Bridge a couple of times. In fact, I've seen them 3 times, so it's not been like that. But I've had bands that have been working on the same bill, but I haven't been on that tour because I'm away with another band. And so I'm very much looking forward to catching Miles' solo show with full band.
I was going to say, because you've not seen Miles. Solo Miles.
Nope.
Yeah, wow. So yeah, that'd be good. That'd be good. So that's next year. So yeah, I think first gig
this year.
This year, is it this year?
Yeah. It's December this year. Come on,
December,
Rob. We have to be factual. Everything we say here is factual.
Can be fact checked. So yeah, we went to see Bruce. Amazing, but it was like a theatre show rather than a gig. So it was a sat down thing. listening to Bruce talk about everything. Really cool, really funny, but more of a theatre thing. So first gig is Slam Dunk in 3 weeks, which Brown Sound, Sum 41 was supposed to be playing, but yeah, they've pulled out, as you said. So I think the Canadian bands pulled out of Slam Dunk.
Okay.
So them 4 Years Strong and a couple of others I think have pulled out, but still some American bands playing and British, but mainly British, but some American bands as well. So that'll be my first gig, and that's 10,000 people.
Yeah, well, I mean, firstly with the Bruce thing, because it was our first time back, and it did feel really cool actually being back in a venue, going to get a beer from the bar, seeing all the people in their Iron Maiden t-shirts, and yeah, it was nice to be back. And I mean, I would have no qualms about going to a gig like Slam Dunk or whatever. I mean, I'm ready to go. Whatever happens, happens. Like, I'm double vaxxed. I would like to get on with life and everything else, so I'm ready. But just being in that environment again, and yeah, it wasn't a rock show, but there was still a buzz around the crowd beforehand. You bumped into a couple of people that you haven't seen in a few years, because there's those people who go to the same gigs as you, and you don't really know them, but you spot them from across the room. It's like, oh, there's that guy again, and there's a nod or a little, hey, how's it going? But and I kind of miss all of that.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, Bruce was interesting. It was totally worth the admission fee for him to sing a verse of Revelations a cappella. I mean,
yeah. In different keys. Didn't he sing it in different keys? And then he was like, so I'll sing it down here. When he was doing warm-up,
different
I'll
registers.
sing it down here, different registers. I'll sing it down here, and then I'll sing it up here. And then when I actually sing it on stage, I'll just blend them together. And it was just
for anybody who was worried about Bruce having throat cancer and whether he could still sing.
Yeah.
And obviously I heard the Writings on the Wall, which is the new Maiden single, and he's a little buried in the mix, and it was like, oh, maybe they've done that for a reason. But wow, I mean, hearing him just sing was outrageously good. So if anybody's thinking about going to see Iron Maiden, you should 100% go and do that, because Bruce's voice is still epically good.
Still there. Still got it. New tune out today as well, right?
Yeah, basically we have to finish shooting this by 6:00 so I can go and listen to the new Maiden tune. That's my rule.
You're really excited though, and that's what I like.
Well,
you're really excited about new music.
This is the next thing I wanted to talk about, because I have a massive bone to pick with you.
Oh no.
Because you're rubbish. You used to give me such a hard time for not enjoying gigs anymore, and not really listening to music anymore. And I went through that whole period. But for the last year and a half, I send you recommendations regularly, check this band out. I think you'll like this. What do you think of this? Because I've really committed to the whole Spotify thing, and it recommends me stuff, and it's really easy to listen to stuff. And Nate sent me a load of bands, people like Chris Stapleton or Whiskey Myers, and that whole kind of country soul rock thing, which is great. Somebody I met on a dating app introduced me to synthwave, which was awesome. That Gunship that I made you listen to, totally into that whole thing.
Gunship is Thingy from Fightstar, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
And then the Mammoth WVH album is really good, and I think you would really like it. But you haven't listened to it yet, have you, Rob? You won't listen to anything new anymore.
I will. I've got stuff going on. I've got editing to do.
You listen to music all the time.
I know. I think where I've got to is I've not fell out of music at all by any stretch, but I have definitely fell out of new music, and I don't know why. I really, really don't know why. I think probably for 2 years it's been podcasting. I travel a lot for work, and that's my go-to now. It is podcasts. There's 400 episodes of Metal Up Your Podcast to get through, or whatever it is, and I've still not listened to them all.
We will get on to Metallica. We will definitely cover that ground. Don't worry.
So yeah. So I do feel bad, because you do send me stuff, but also you send me a lot of other stuff. You're playing guitar on the Nitrate album, so you're sending me riffs for that. You've sent me solos for that before that was being done. So I do listen to the stuff that's you. It's just your recommendations maybe not so much, but I'll get there. I will get there.
I'm almost a little offended, Rob, that apparently I send you too much stuff. You know what? Maybe we're not the friends that I thought we were. Maybe I'll find another person to bug. Don't you worry about it. Don't you
At
worry about
least-
it. I'll send my riffs to someone else, Rob. It's fine.
No. At least I'm listening to the riffs and not just going for your recommendations. If it was the recommendations and just ignoring your
The
riffs, that'd be
recommendations are
rude.
way better than my riffs. Fuck the riffs.
I'm not denying that.
But I really would recommend Wolfgang's album, especially for you because you're kind of trapped in this little noughties bubble of like 2001 to 2005, and there's loads of influences from that kind of period in there. It's really good. Gets my
I'm
tour talk seal of
definitely not
approval.
stuck there. I'm not
You
stuck
are
there.
stuck there.
Although this guitar's down in drop D at the minute, so it is just like in me. It's just back to back in me. That's it. Overgrown Eden all the way through. That's me dumb.
I mean, the fact that you've seen Metallica a million times, you know everything about them, you've met them, you've done all the stupid fan club shows, you've been to the S&M, all that kind of stuff. How can you possibly want to listen to two other people talk about Metallica? I don't understand. I mean, and don't get me wrong, that Metal Up Your podcast is great. It's brilliant, and those two guys are super entertaining. But like for you, you are like a proper super fan. You know all the stuff anyway.
I know, but it's good hearing that other people are like that, and there's a community and stuff, and like because all right, you like Metallica. Other people I know like Metallica, but it's like it start and end with this the song. Let's see them live, and that's it. You know, they talk about the gear and everything. They dissect the songs, the lyrics, everything. It's great. I did actually get a new vinyl yesterday from the Metallica Vinyl Club.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Oh, I
It's when
forgot
they
they
did
put
the Chris
covers,
Cornell
yeah.
thing. Yeah,
It
which is
very
really
good
cool.
looking.
Yeah, so that's cool.
Do you want to see my new vinyl?
Yeah, go for it.
Tell me more about Metallica whilst I get my
So I'm editing this bit out, yeah? Just this, you walking
maybe
off.
I was quick. So this is the Nitrate vinyl that landed on my door yesterday. Look at it, isn't it beautiful?
Do you know what? I saw it and I was gonna say something to you because of your little posy picture inside. The vinyl looks really cool.
Beautiful purple
yeah.
vinyl. Like purple's my favorite
literally
color anyway.
Matches you. Just move it to the right. It matches the telly.
So good. So good. I mean, sadly, I did not play that telly on this record at all, but I would really recommend getting a copy of this. It's really, really good. And if not, this is just for display purposes alone. Nobody listens to vinyl, but it's just really, really good looking. So there you go.
You're not going to get out and show us the little posy picture, the little black and white posy picture of you inside. Because that's what I
because
noticed.
it's on the intro of fucking Tour Talk because you put it there. So there you go.
I know. We need
No
some
one
new
needs to see
pictures
that.
with your new haircut.
I'm working on it actually. You just watch this space. Watch this space.
Oh God. Okay.
So super fanning though, because I mean I'm a big Maiden fan, but I would never go to the lengths that you go to for a band. Yeah, I'm excited about the new release. I care about the little bits of trivia and stuff that you hear, but do you want to explain to people the lengths you've gone to go and see it? I mean, this is a band that isn't even brilliant live.
So
I
horrible.
said it. I mean, I've seen them enough times.
It's not even true. It's not even true. Production is always 10 out of 10. Every gig, 10 out of 10.
Okay, but you don't go to gigs for production. It's like that's
I don't
if the
know,
band's
'cause
great and then the production's great, that's awesome.
There's not many arena stadium rock metal bands that do it like Metallica. I don't think. Like, I really don't think there are that many. So let's go to Maiden. I'm a little bored of Maiden's live show now. So the last tour, the Legacy of the Beast one,
Fair.
the Legacy of the Beast, the Beast and the Spitfire were great, but that whole like runway thing has been like that for 20 years.
Yep.
Like,
Fair.
change it. I'd love to see Maiden in the round. Imagine seeing Maiden in the round. It'd be insane.
Mm-hmm.
Because there's that many of them on stage. You could really make that work. Lengths I go to from Metallica. So what? I've seen them 20 odd times. I've only been to America. No, I've seen them in America and Amsterdam. And the Amsterdam one was...
You see them in America twice though.
America...
Because we saw them.
Yeah.
We saw them in Vegas,
S&M
and you saw them in
2 and Vegas. Yeah. Yeah. And the Amsterdam one that we went to was it was our 30th. We'd booked that weekend to be in Amsterdam, and then the stars aligned and they were playing that weekend. And that was the same for Vegas, actually. We booked Vegas, and then it was Rock in Rio. So it's actually the universe telling me I need to go to Metallica gigs.
Do you not think it's
Not the
weird though
other
that
way
they were
around.
the headline band in Vegas and every other band on that bill was tighter than them, and
Yeah, it was
Linkin Park's show was better.
yeah, Lincoln. The first bit of the Linkin Park show was better when they were playing their old stuff, and then they played the new stuff, which wasn't great. But anyway, yeah, the set was amazing. I think you like giving them a hard time because you know how much I like it as well. So, but the set list that night in Vegas was great. Like King
Nothing.
open with Fuel, and then I think into King Nothing, like 2 or 3 songs in. It's great. They had a crowd on stage, like super fans on stage, which I didn't get a ticket for. Yeah. Anyway, let's not hate too much on them.
No, I'm not. But you essentially now are going to Metallica to see them play the one song that you haven't seen them play before. So they might play one song in a set that you haven't seen them play before, and that's the coup de grace of the show for you, isn't it? The fact that they played King Nothing or Two Before or whatever. That's like the highlight of your night.
If only they played Two Before. Yeah, I don't know. Like I'm invested in them, so yeah, I'll go and see them when they tour. But there's not many bands now that I kind of like that I wouldn't go and see pretty much every time they toured, because every time they toured, it's a new album cycle normally. Yeah, new production and stuff, which I probably didn't care about like 20 years ago when I started going to gigs, but now like I care about that stuff.
Because I talk about it all the time. Now you care about it.
No. A band I really want to go and see with you. Like, I really want to go and see Muse.
Yeah.
I'd really like to go and see
Agreed.
Muse. So we'll do that when they come about.
You can buy me a ticket for that. I'll come.
Sure. Because I've not seen them for a few years. Like, I didn't see them on the last Simulation Theory album, which was great. And talk about production, that was insane.
Mm-hmm. But you've been to the House of Van show, which was like 800 people for Metallica.
Yeah,
like,
but that was a
underground.
Contest. I didn't pay for that.
No, I know.
And
then you met Metallica. Did you? You went to a signing
the night before? Yeah.
What did Lars say to you?
Lars, so Lars is first, and they do that on purpose because he definitely, like, everyone's nervous. And I think the thing about that, so it was Hardwired release at HMV in London, then they were playing House of Vans the night after. So, and it was win a contest, and it was just you. So it wasn't a U+1. It was just you. So everyone.
What did you do to win?
In line, nothing. It was just an enter on H. Oh no, I think you had to buy the album, maybe, like buy a physical copy from them. And I got like the deluxe vinyl, whatever, which is framed upstairs. Yeah, so they put Lars first because he's just dead chatty, and he immediately just all the nerves because you've been queuing up for hours, just like snaking through. And he was just like, "Where are you from?" Manchester. He's like, "No, we're in Manchester." I'm like, "South Manchester," and he's like, "Burnage," which is like round the corner from Didsbury, from where I am. And I was like, then in my head, I've just got this thing about, what if I saw him in the local pub? Like, what if Lars just walked into the Dog next time they tour in Manchester? I mean, the dream is alive. I can't really remember. Is it weird that years ago?
Is it weird that Lars gets all the bad press, yet he's actually the canniest one, or the easiest one to talk to?
He's definitely the best one. But he just doesn't. For him, it's not. I don't think, apart from Justice, it was never about being the best drummer. It was about It was about just being in a band and playing shows and getting his music out there and fans and the other side, or that side of it. So and I do struggle to see that like Justice era where they made a conscious decision to go, right, we're going to go really, really progressive, really technical for an album. Because like, the Black Album's amazing. This year, 30th anniversary of the Black Album, but like, it's not a complicated, difficult album. None of the songs, they're all just
but that was
bangers.
The point, wasn't it? That was their punt at the mainstream, and it worked out beautifully. Even Bruce has come out recently and been like, the Black Album was the metal album that went mainstream, and they obviously, they probably sat down with the producer and were like, this is what we're going to try and do. How do we do that? And then they'll take those ideas and build those songs around that idea of making metal for the mainstream. It's still a great album, but it's...
But yeah, and then since then...
I never need to hear Enter Sandman again. Fuck no.
No. But that's like when Lars went, oh, so I don't really need to try really hard to be a drummer. I can just play 4/4 and just accent James and I'm good. And to be honest, that's what he's done on every album since. But still, I don't think they wouldn't be who they are without Lars behind that kit. And we've spoke before about, like, because we had Charlie on the podcast, and when you work with Anthrax, you're like, imagine Charlie with Metallica. And it would be amazing, don't get me wrong, technically it'd be amazing. Really, I think it'd really push James. and Rob, but they just wouldn't be the same band because Lars just it's just Lennon McCartney, isn't it? It's Ulrich Hetfield.
Wow, is it?
Yeah, I mean,
Okay.
I mean, as much as you love Maiden, Metallica are the biggest metal band ever.
Correct.
Done.
Correct. So for all the other super fan listeners out there, how do you make it work at home with a missus who must be sick of all the Metallica paraphernalia and endless going to all these stupid gigs of the band you've seen a million times? Like, what's
Yeah.
the trick? What can you teach the other super fans who are listening to the show of how to make it work at home?
How to deal with your missus?
No, how to let she's the one dealing with you and your ridiculous infatuation with a band.
Yeah. I don't know. It's what I care about. It's what I want to do, and I mean, to be honest, it's having a man cave is the one because apart from one music thing, everything is down here. So everything is down here, or in boxes. Nothing is allowed in the house. So when you buy me presents for my birthday, she's like, "Oh, that's nice. That'll be in the cellar."
I already know this. I'm buying you stuff for the cellar for sure.
Yeah, definitely. Which is absolutely fine. I mean, there is Maiden stuff down here as well, mate. So it's not just.
Oh, I know. It's not all Metallica. I mean, just 99.8% of it is Metallica. I mean, how many framed bits of Metallica paraphernalia have you got in that room?
Down here, what? 2, 4, 5. 5. Yeah, two there.
Mm-hmm.
One over there, and a 6. But then I've got six. I've got 6 vinyl up here, and 5 of the 6 are Metallica. 1 Maiden.
So that says it all, doesn't it? Really.
It's fine though. It's not a problem. I've got my little Anthrax coaster that you got me. So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I did loads of stuff like that. I'm actually not a terrible human being most of the time.
No, you were nice for a period.
Yeah, I'm trying now. I'm trying really hard.
It's a struggle. It's a real struggle.
It's difficult.
Okay, so what about your next gig back then? Have you got anything in apart from Miles?
No, I would like to take Tour Talk to some shows, and there are a couple of young British bands on tour next month that I'm going to try and rope you into going to see, so we can try and film some interviews backstage with some gents that may or may not have already appeared on said podcast, or at least some of their bandmates, to try and get a different angle on what it's like being in those bands. I mean, the problem is that, going back to what we were talking about before, it's all dependent on whether these shows actually end up happening. And I think they will. I think for now, nationally, everything's going to be okay. I think we basically have to let life crack on as much as possible. So I think those shows will keep happening, especially as more people get vaccinated and everything else. Whether the whole vaccine passport comes in and that becomes a requirement for going to shows is a whole nother level that I don't really want to have to think about yet, because I have to then think about having band members vaccinated who maybe don't want to get vaccinated, because, out of 5 people in a band, there's going to be one person who isn't convinced that the vaccine's safe or whatever. So, and you saw the guy from The Offspring get fired because he wouldn't get vaxxed, which meant that he couldn't tour properly.
I don't know if that was happening with John Otto as well from Limp Bizkit, or if he's just been let go, because the rest of the band are...
how are they going to get to the Matthews Bridge without him? I don't get it.
Man.
I don't get it.
They said Lollapalooza when he played the other day, and I was like... Because I was thinking that as the song was coming, I was like, oh, how are we getting there? How are we getting to the Matthews Bridge? Yeah, what a shame. But...
So that's my plan, is to go and take Tour Talk to some shows. I've not got any work planned for this year, just because, especially with a lot of what I do is generally internationally around Europe, so that's traveling from country to country, and the whole quarantine rule between countries is still, like amber lists and all the rest of it, is still so vague and susceptible to change that it's, in my mind, it's pointless me trying to get excited or try and work all this stuff out just to end up having to reschedule even more stuff. So I'm there's some stuff booked for February and March next year that I think is possible. So that's my kind of line in the sand. Obviously, we can't get into America yet, regardless. I mean, I haven't got a working visa for the States anymore, so I can't just go there. But if they decide to open their borders, then there's work that I could possibly do over there, and I would be very keen to have a change of scenery and maybe go over. But I'm way past trying to make it happen because it is just setting yourself up for disappointment at the minute. And if stuff comes along, then that's great. But I can't. I mean, the good thing for me is that last Friday was bizarre because for 18 months my inbox has been steady, like normal. And it used to be chaos. And then last Friday afternoon, there were gig offers in Germany. There was festival offers for the UK next year. There was a tour offer for late 2022, all within like 2 hours of each other. And I've currently got emails going back and forth with labels about metadata and ISRC codes and gift box sets and all the rest of it. So all of a sudden I was like, oh, it's like it used to be, which was quite nice. I mean, I like that level of busy, and the music industry is a little chaotic at times when it's at its best, and I quite like being in the midst of that. So that I've enjoyed. Again, all these shows that we're getting offered for next year, I'm taking with a pinch of salt, because if people can't get in the country, then those shows can't happen. So I'm trying not to get too far ahead. Just be very present and living in the now. And obviously having to talk to keep us entertained has been cool. And obviously we have plans to do more with this. Which again is dependent on the world opening up and stuff kind of getting back to normal. But we've had a couple of nice emails in the last week from people who know what they're talking about. And if we can, build this and take it to another level and it be a fun little side hustle while the world gets back to normal, then I think we could have a lot of fun with it.
Yep. Yeah.
I just talked a lot there. Sorry, Rob.
It's all right, mate. Don't worry about it. Yeah, so I think for you especially, like, it must be tough because you can see shows happening. So like Nate, shows are happening. Nate is touring. Our boy's on tour and he's doing amazing. And it looks great and he sounds great and everything's great.
It does look great. Good. He looks really good. I'm very proud of him.
He's doing really well. And long may that continue. But obviously, you're not involved. So, is that hurting? Is that tough to see it, or are you happy for those people? It's not just Nate, but other bands.
We've mentioned this a little bit when I spoke with Nate after his first tour, and I am super happy that it's happening because there's a lot of people. Like, I've been pretty busy during all of this, but I know there's a lot of people who've really suffered. So the fact that they're all getting back to work and then people are getting that release of going to shows and everything else is great. Bloodstock happened last weekend. I was in no rush to go there. Part of me, because I like working these things, I like being involved in them, and it's not quite the same just going to watch the show. Like, for me, I get a little angsty and I need to be involved in you know what it's like going to a gig with me. It's miserable, isn't it? Because I'll talk about the production and the sound and what's happening and what's so but even that, like, I've seen people come back from Bloodstock and now they're all getting pinged on track and trace and now they've all got COVID or have to isolate. So like, this is the thing that there's like, it's really hard to commit to getting back to normal when there's still this thing kind of hanging over it. If there was a band on a Bloodstock that I really wanted to go and see, I would go and I wouldn't think about it. But
next year lineup is great already. Really
lineup is really good.
So let's line
maybe Tour Talk will be there. Who knows?
Let's hope, man. Let's hope.
You're not. Rob. You just have to edit it afterwards.
Yeah. No. That's not. My fee is becoming entry all of this stuff next year. Basically, it'd be great if I could walk through 22 without paying for a gig. Just go to them. But
I'll see what I can do.
It's not gonna happen. Yeah, but the lineup is great. And I think so from your side then, because I have got quite a lot of gig tickets for next year. Is next year not booked? Like, literally venues are back to back next year already.
Yeah, but I mean, it's all still dependent on, some of them are fully booked with tours that go through multiple countries, so that might not be able to happen like it hasn't been this year. So then they'll all get moved, or bands will try and do parts of tours. So like, I could imagine one of the tours that I've got lined up where it goes through 3 or 4 different countries. We might just do the country where the venues are the biggest and the guarantees are the biggest, so that's the one we can afford to do. Mm-hmm. That's what might happen, where you start getting parts of tours, especially for like band members flying in internationally. I think this is like, especially for young local bands, this is the time. Like the only gigs that are really going to be happening are local ones. Like obviously Bruce did his spoken word tour, and it was just in the UK because that's all it can do. And I mean, now you're going to get loads of young bands who are going to get festival opportunities and everything else because they don't need to quarantine for 10 days on getting here. So
Yep.
I think there's going to be a lot of opportunity for young bands. They just need to really go at it. Because I think people will go to smaller shows locally for something to do as well. Instead of saving up for the big expensive ticket to go and see Bon Jovi or Metallica or whatever and spend £100 on that. If that's not happening, hopefully they'll go to 10 smaller shows and pay £10 a ticket. And that would be really useful for a lot of young bands because as we've said before, we can't really see where that next group of headliners is coming from. You know, Maiden and Metallica and all the rest of them have been headlining massive festivals for 30-odd years. Like, apart from, like, Avenged and obviously, like, Slipknot are at that level, but more than at that level.
They're old now. Well, not old, but they, even
they've been around 25 years.
Yeah. So Slipknot was, 99? Self-titled was 99?
Yeah.
So, yeah, you're right. And, the download pilot, even though it was only 10,000 people, was Bullet and Shikari, I think Frank Carter was the Friday headliner. They've been around for a while. And it was only a smaller crowds, but Shikari and Bullet have been around for a long, like 20 years as well. Mm-hmm. So who's coming up? Who's that next big thing? And you're right, we really should get behind local bands and support and all that kind of thing. And I don't do it enough, like I know that. So yeah, I think it'd be good to get out and just go and see a show, any show.
So we're going to take Tour Talk on tour next month, and we're going to go see a bunch of these shows. That's the plan.
Let's do it.
We're going to do it. Whether we do it live or whether we film it and then edit out all my mistakes later on is
100%. You need the editing, dude. You need the editing.
I'm getting better. I am definitely getting better at this.
You are.
Even my dad told me. My dad actually listens to them all. Even my dad said you're getting better at this, so that's
cute. You're almost becoming a journalist. Almost. But no, like you are definitely getting better. I think you're both getting better. You're both getting better. I think Nate was getting a little. He was just itching to get back out on the road, and he was like,
he's very happy to be back.
Another Zoom call, and he's really happy to be back out on the road. So I think if we can get this stuff done in person, it's just going to add a new dynamic to it, a new vibe to it. Because I think people were really happy to kind of do all this stuff because that was press for them as well. Keeping their name relevant and whatever. And then I think they're just going to be so happy to be out on tour next year. Because bands are touring this year, but still a lot of bands aren't. They might be doing local shows, like you say. British bands will be over here, but no American bands really are coming over here in earnest till next year.
No.
So
I am very much looking forward to it. So where do we go from here, Rob? You got anything to ask me for once?
I've asked you a few things. I've not got loads. I've not got much. What about you on tour? Let's talk about that. So as you've said, you're on the Nitrate album.
Mm-hmm.
What about you playing a show?
Just £20 or euros from
just again
any good local vendor.
But what about you going on tour? Or obviously with Nate as well. There was talk of you being on tour with Nate.
It is all dependent on what you're able to do. I mean, the Nitrate thing is dependent on Nick putting a band together and making something of that and booking shows and stuff. So for once, I'm not involved in any of that. I have bands that I work for that I do that for, but for this project, I play guitar, which is quite nice to kind of just hand off the other side, the admin stuff to someone else. But I'm ready. I said at the start of all this that I just want to play guitar. And I'll do all the other stuff because I quite like the tour management and all the rest of it, but I would like to do that in conjunction with playing guitar. So, I've got my guys are ready to go, looking lovely up there on the wall, but they want to be out there too.
You're taking all three out. Would you take all three?
It depends on what tour and what style of music I'd be playing, because I couldn't take my Charvel on a country soul rock tour.
Correct.
I could probably take my Purple Telly on a metal tour, though, for sure.
I was thinking you've already decided that regardless of genre, Purple telly is coming.
Purple telly is the one.
Yeah.
But I might have to get a second one and put some like bare knuckle pickups in it or something, and then so that it really kind of wails.
Squeals.
Yeah.
Sure.
I'm ready. I'm totally ready. I've been working really hard. I've been practicing guitar, and there's almost as much time as I've spent on tour talk.
Doing that.
So
playing a show or watching a show?
Oh, playing a show.
Playing
100%.
a show. Really?
Always.
Wow.
Rob, you came to like 300 Hell to Pay gigs. Like, you know.
Yeah.
That, I mean, it's been a long time since I played a show, but you know that it was always about that for me. I just got really grumpy with it because my band didn't do very well. And I wanted to tour the world.
I thought you were going to say my band didn't really do very much, but
I mean, also
I think we covered that a bit
grumpy.
in the Hell to Pay episode. Yeah.
That made me grumpy too.
Yeah, but definitely,
yeah.
really playing a show over. Wow. Okay, that's a weird. Like I mean, I play guitar. I played a handful of cover gigs with Dan back in the day, like 20 years ago, or whatever. But like, I can't imagine having more of a drive to be on stage than.
Oh, like 100%. It's an expression thing. I mean, the thing is that you play other people's riffs all the time. You don't kind of write anything, or whereas like especially like trying to play lead guitar and making it up on the spot, that's like just an expression of your personality or whatever. And then doing that in front of people is a test. If you can nail that, under pressure on the spot. And I always quite like that, especially being in a band with someone like Dan, who always nailed it and always did really well, and having to at least try and live up to that. I quite like that pressure. And I think, especially with a couple of the people I might end up playing with, like, there's going to be a lot of pressure to be good. And I feel like I've cheated my way through playing guitar and all these things since forever. So, like, if I can... So if I could actually hold my own with some of these people, then that would be really cool for me personally.
Okay. Wow.
Especially on stage in front of people.
Well, yeah. Let's hope that happens soon for you, because it's been a long time. Because you did.
Yeah. You haven't roadied for me in years, dude. So
no, I've not.
I can't wait for you to start carrying my amps again. That's going to be awesome.
That will not be happening. Guitar to Wah and White on the Right is all I've got.
That's it. And yeah, I'll make sure that we exclusively play Academy 3 at Manchester, and you have to lift everything
again.
up all 4 floors of those stairs.
Never again. Jesus, man. Yeah, but you've not played, because did you play? Was it Portland last year? Were you on stage?
Yeah, I played a song really badly because I did Hold the Line, but they changed the key.
Yeah,
and didn't. It was a half a step down, so it took me like the first minute to work out how to play that song in F instead of F sharp, which is tricky after a few Moscow mules. I will admit that. I got the solo right, so that's fine.
Of course.
But yeah,
again, gain delay.
someone else's rig, man. The gain was already set, not my fault.
Okay.
But that I played a couple of songs on stage with Dan Reed at an end of tour thing 3 or 4 years ago now. And before that, last full gig...
Oh, no, you did Lion Eyes.
Yep, I played a couple of songs on stage with Lion Eyes.
Yeah.
It was 2018, but last full gig was about 5 or 6 years ago.
Wow.
So I'm ready for that. I don't know whether I've got the stamina for that. I don't know whether my little hands can take it. Standing up, playing guitar. Man. Jesus.
I was flicking through some stuff the other day, and I found an old Hell to Pay video, like really old. I think you were cancelled to play somewhere, and then ended up playing like a working club in St Helens or something.
Sure. Sounds like our touring history.
Yeah, I'm sure you were supposed to play maybe Salford, and then ended up in St Helens or something.
Oh no,
like
we
that.
talked about that on the Hell to Pay one. That's where the gig was double booked with a rehearsal for someone else, and more people had turned up to the rehearsal than our gig. So we went and played a show in St Helens. Yeah. Yeah,
but you're wearing a beanie, a vest. So you're already contradicting the levels of heat in the room.
It's nothing to do with heat.
Fingerless gloves.
Yeah.
Fingerless gloves. That was your look in the day. You loved a fingerless glove.
You've got to make mistakes to get to grow. Like, you've got to try things. Like, currently I've got a ridiculous haircut that I'm trying. But I'll never be afraid to look stupid and try stuff, for sure. And I can't wait to be back on stage looking stupid and trying more stuff in the future.
Yeah, and it'll be a real change of pace seeing you play, because I've only seen you play metal stuff or rock stuff, or whatever. So if you play country or something of that ilk, where it's
Imagine
about
if I'm good.
feel
Imagine if that actually
and
happens. Yeah, I know.
timing.
Well, I've been
Yeah.
I've been trying really hard to play slow, but playing slow is quite difficult because space is awkward, and especially when you're not playing a lot of notes, then there's a lot of attention on your vibrato and your bends and everything actually being pitched correctly, which is, when you play a million notes a second, it's dead easy. No one picks up on yeah, exactly. So yeah, I think it's going to be a fun experience for all involved. I'm sure.
Okay. Well, hopefully, first show books will be soon.
I'm going to make you buy a ticket too.
No, oh, mate, I am free tickets for everything for life for you and Nate after the hours I've put in this year.
Yeah. I feel like I've actually kept you sane during lockdown, so
It's been good. This has been really good. It's been good to not just binge Netflix or whatever.
You've learned a new skill.
Yeah, actually having a bit of a focus and a thing and a deadline every week that is not work and something I enjoy. I do enjoy the end product when it goes out there, but there are moments. I
also think you like being able to complain about stuff to do with me.
Oh,
and
100%. Yeah. Oh, yeah, I love that.
You almost like it when I don't have all my files, so you can call me an idiot.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, yeah. There's a limit. There's a limit. It's when there's a 20-minute missing bit in the middle.
But it's hard. Sometimes your phone just decides to turn off. Like, technology is flippant. It doesn't behave all the time. And yeah, sometimes it's user error. Granted, haven't made enough space on the hard drive or whatever, but sometimes it just takes a shit for no reason.
Yeah, okay. I'll give you that. But yeah, I mean, if we can take this on the road, that'd be great.
Good.
Get some stuff set up. Yeah, really good.
Work on it. I am very conscious that it's almost getting time to new Iron Maiden.
Listen to Maiden.
So
what's the song?
The
begins with
song is shit.
Here he is.
Shit,
Big
I feel
Maiden
like I'm
fan.
losing all my Maiden fan points now.
Yeah, you are. You definitely
just ignore that typing whilst I quickly check what the song
I can edit this out.
No,
you'll be back immediately with a response.
Stratego.
And who? What is it?
Which is a very interesting name for a song. Stratego.
Is this because the first song was Stratego?
Writings on the Wall.
No, yeah. Whose was the first one? That was Bruce's
and Adrian, yeah.
Bruce and Adrian, and this one is.
I've got a feeling it's just different. I would not want to be
Steve. It's got to be.
Let me check. I mean, this is the beauty of the internet. See who's got writing credits for what. Amazing how all this stuff is just there at your fingertips. So this is a Yannick and Steve co-write.
Okay.
And it's under 5 minutes long, so
wow.
Fucking hell.
It could be a banger.
Yep. It's a pop song.
Maiden
do pop.
banger.
It's not even the shortest song on the record. Wow.
I'm on the fence with Writing on the Wall. I kind of like it. I kind of don't. I like that intro.
They don't care.
It's different.
I think there's going to be a lot of interesting bits on this record. I think they got very much stuck on a certain way of putting an album together. And I'm hoping that they've done this a little differently, but who knows? I'll still listen to it. I'll still buy it. I'll still like it. It'll still be Iron Maiden, so it's fine.
We'll go and see them on tour next year.
Yeah. I'm really disappointed that, especially with the Bruce thing, you were able to write questions for him on cards. That he then picked a handful of them were picked for him to answer at the show after the interval, and neither of ours got picked. And obviously, I asked him to come on Tour Talk, but for some reason they didn't. They didn't pick up on that. So I will get you, Bruce. I will get you
at some point. Yeah. And on that note, you've got 2 minutes.
All right, I'm off. Lovely to see you guys. All right, mate. Cheers.
Good to see you, dude. Speak to you soon.
Bye.
See you later. Bye.
Congratulations on making it to the end of another episode of Tour Talk. You can keep up to date with us across the socials at Tour Talk Pod. So that's Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and Patreon. Please subscribe, comment, like, and share, and we will see you next week.